material possessions and maybe self-slavery. I'm going to ask you a question toward the end of this video. I'd love your feedback in the comments area about material possessions. So oftentimes this comes up in conversation where material possessions, they feel like they're weighing us down. We love our stuff. Not all of us, but a lot of us do. But the more stuff we get, the more it weighs us down. We're not as mobile. We can't travel as lightly or as freely. And then there's me, and maybe you can relate to this. Let me know. But I don't like having material stuff. It's not important to me. However, when there's a material something that has a sentimental meaning, a memory attached to it from another human being, maybe a loved one that's passed on and I've got this whatever, those material possessions, those can tend to get a little bit ridiculous in my world because I cannot let them go. So I can let go of material possessions if there's no sentimental attachment or value to it. But the ones that do have those sentimental values and attachments, I have a hard time letting them go. Now, when we die, the only certainty of life is that it's going to end, right? This particular life on earth is going to end. We're going to die, and our bodies are going to do what they do best, decompose, 100%. But in the meantime, I've got this material stuff. When we die, we're released from all material things, including this physical, very limiting body that we have. So my question for all of you, please put it in the comments. You can private message me if you wish, is do you have a struggle with material possessions at all? And is it the kind that has sentimental value attached to it? Or is it the kind that it's just sort of frivolous stuff that you're attached to and you kind of struggle with that? And if you're a recovering person from this challenge, what did you do that helped you get over it? Especially if you had an attachment to sentimental objects that you were attached to. How did you release yourself from that, not just physically but emotionally, so that you could do it and just feel great and liberated and all those kinds of things? And one last note I'll make about technology, because that's relevant today. So technology is this thing where the more advanced it gets, the more it's supposed to free us and liberate us to just live more freeing, liberated lives, right? Well, the opposite is always happening. Anytime technology gets better, it gets more advanced, we are so immature as a human species that we use what was supposed to free us to conquer us. Like, we become more enslaved to it, the technology, and it consumes our lives. So that's what immaturity does with technology. We use it to create more we become more isolated with it, and we become more enslaved to it. It's sort of like material possessions, but more so with isolation with technology. And so some of us, and thankfully I've been able to do this, this was actually never one of my challenges. Material possessions based on sentimental value has always been a challenge, but technology, not so much. Technology I've actually successfully used to bring myself closer to people and to free myself more and live a more liberated lifestyle. So I'm very happy about that. And I guess my driving philosophy that made that possible, because it's something I never had to work at. But if I did have to work at it, I would say I would have to know what my priorities are and ask myself if what I'm doing is in alignment with my priorities or not, and then make the changes. So I can do that with my other challenges, and that's a driving philosophy that can really be adapted to any challenge. Is to ask yourself what your priorities are, and is what you're doing in alignment with it, or is it not? And sort of audit your daily activities, maybe even your daily thoughts. Write it all down, and then one by one, line by line, does this one line up with my priorities? Okay, I'll keep it. Does this one? No. Does this one? No. Okay, I got to get rid of those, at least temporarily, until your priorities are thriving. And then maybe some of those that you got rid of, you can add back in slowly, as long as your priorities are in the correct alignment. So that's the most important thing. So feel free to add your wisdom to that, as well as answering the questions I posed in this video. Really like to get your guys' feedback, because this is actually pretty much life or death stuff, and maybe more so the quality of living kind of stuff. Yeah, quality of living kind of stuff. That's important and probably should be talked about, so that the more we talk about it together, the more we can help each other make our own breakthroughs into becoming more mature, more independent, more liberated, more free human beings, and ultimately happier for it. So looking forward to it. And if you like this kind of stuff, my website, tomburkenmeyer.com, all kinds of philosophically driven material, mostly to do with natural healing and health and things like that. tomburkenmeyer.com, just like it's spelled here on social media. Talk to you soon. Looking forward to reading the comments.